Hello, multimeter time! I got one that works. So this is a I can't remember what it's called. Something about an automatic multimeter, auto range. It's an auto range multimeter, which means that it's a lot more sensitive and it costs a lot more money than the other two little ones that I had. So I've got the multimeter, I've got the cords, and I've got a little alligator clip thing that can connect my ground cord to the ground so that we can get measurement. Now, they have kindly color-coded where the cord goes in. So black goes into the little black hole for the comms, and red goes in for this one because we want to measure our body voltage. We want to look for these little symbols. All of these little symbols there, and we're going to plug that in for our body voltage, and those are our little prongs. Now I have to turn it on, and when it comes on it's going to automatically go to DC. We want AC because that is what our body voltage works in. So now I've got it into AC and it's on auto ranging. Now what I need to do is connect the black to a ground of some description. So I have these little alligator clips, and I'm going to clip that to the little prong, and right here on the wall I've got my grounding cord, grounding thingy, and it's not on. It doesn't have to be on because we don't want the electricity. We want the ground. We want to connect to the ground. So I've got my mat connected in, and I've also got my spare one, how convenient, which I can then use my alligator clip to connect there, which means I've created a little circuit to the grounding cable outside. So we can see it's 0.176 voltage at the moment coming through, and if I hold, I'm going to try and let you read all of this somehow. somehow. So at the moment we've got our little ground cable in, and we can see that it is reading some things. Now, the moment that I touch this, it's going to measure my body voltage. So it's not too bad at the moment because I'm not really around a whole lot of electronics. But watch this. If I touch the wall socket, my body voltage goes up to like 1 volt plus. And in fact, even if I just slide my hand up and down the wall, you can see that it gets affected. I don't know what happens if I turn it on. The body voltage goes way up to 2 volts. But we don't need it. We don't need it on, right? So there we go. Now, the exciting part, the exciting test, is what happens when I touch the mats. Whoop, whoop. So we've got our ground, we've got our body voltage reading there. Currently, the camera, you can't see. Let's see if we can see a little bit of the mat. There we go. I've got both of my mats here. So my maroon mat with the old stainless steel threads running through it is connected to the wall socket, and my yoga mat with the infused carbon on it goes into the ground in the ground because I don't have a wall socket, which is unfortunate. However, I do have my body voltage meter. So I'll put this here and you can see what happens. Okay, so I'm not holding the thingy, and the moment I touch it, it starts to read my body voltage. And if I place one hand on my yoga mat, it comes down. Take it off. It's going up. I can't see it. Here we go. It's all over the place, going up, going up. Put my hand on my carbon infused mat. It brings it down. So what's happening is all the positive electrons from our electronics and stuff in the air around us are affecting me. And when I ground myself with the negative electrons from the earth, my body voltage goes down. Now what's really cool, I can't get low enough, is this mat is way more effective at taking my voltage down. And I assume that's because it actually has the stainless steel fibers all the way through it. Now this is just me touching it with one hand or one finger to get that grounding. If I was to stand on it with both feet, I think it goes down a lot more. So I'm on the carbon mat, and if I stood on this one, I can't read what's going on. I was just trying to find its way. And it might be a little bit overwhelmed because I've got my tripod on this mat and I've got the voltmeter on the mat, which is probably not what we should be doing really. But you can see that the readings definitely change on mat, on fiber carbon mat, on ground. Pretty interesting, right? Hand on maroon mat, hand on carbon mat, not carbon fiber, carbon infused, and off it. I think you might be reading it all back to front. I apologize for that, but that is Facebook for you. So there we go. That is what the old body voltage metery thing does for us. So kind of exciting. And depending on where I am in the house, so for example, if I was at my computer desk with all my cables and my laptop and my wireless charging thing, my body voltage would be much higher because I'm getting a lot more of those positive electrons. Those positive electrons or energy electrons in the air create free radical damage in our body. This is the science or the theory behind it. And when I ground myself, I bring in the negative electrons from the earth and it balances them out and allows my body to come back into that state of balance rather than being overwhelmed and bombarded with all of the the EMFs that are all around us all the time. So the idea is to situate yourself on your mat, especially if you want to sleep on it all night long, is to find a position where you can be, where you're going to bring down that number as much as possible. Now my bed, there's a lot of cables underneath it because my partner wants to plug into his device, I want to charge my thing, we've got electric blankets on there that we haven't taken off from winter that has all the power going through it. So there's a lot going on there. So definitely having an earthing mat and being able to bring that charge in my body down, I think is super beneficial. Now I did sleep on it on this little one, so I have it this way underneath my sheet and I just lie down it like that, and I did sleep on it exactly the same way as I did the night before when I felt that I was super hot. It was much cooler last night, and either I'm just getting used to it or it was cooler. I didn't feel like it was burning me up. I didn't feel like I could feel the heat of those stainless steel wires underneath me. So I had a much better sleep. I slept through the night, and I'm excited to see the long-term effects of me getting the earthing for longer periods of time rather than an hour or so outside. I have spent a lot of time outside getting a little bit tanned. So there we go. Hopefully that made some kind of sense to you. I can, if you want, I can link to some of the more scientific experiments and approaches, and I can also link to what the hell I was just trying to explain to you. But it's kind of cool seeing the difference, and it's quite amazing seeing how much more effective this is to this. And I assume that's because with this, the thread goes right through the fabric. There's no rubber insulating it. It is natural cotton with natural felt inside. It's got a much better plug on it, much more robust, so I don't feel like it's going to bust. I feel like this is, I mean, it's a button really, isn't it? I feel like this is going to last me, and I can take it wherever I want. I can fold it up, I can put it on my lap and put it around my shoulders. I can do what I like with it. Whereas this one, which costs twice the price, has this tiny little connection, which I feel is going to rip through very soon. Plus it's got this rubber backing, and rubber is going to insulate you from the Earth's electrons, so that's kind of odd. And then it's got this vinyl, which supposedly has a spray layer of carbon on top, which is going to rub off over time and become ineffective, and we can already see that it's not as effective as the cloth one. So if you're looking to get yourself an earthing mat, I would definitely go for something that is fabric based, and this came from Australia, the Better Earthing Company. It came with all of that great information and advice, and they even have a video, which is where I learned how to do this, off their video on their website, on how to read your body voltage. Now, the first thing you need to do before you do all of that is make sure that your socket, your house, is grounded. New Zealand and Australia tend to be grounded anyway, but if you're in America or somewhere else, I think it's houses pre-1980s weren't necessarily grounded. So I would really like to also find a plug thing for this mat so that I can test like do an even test where they're both going through the socket. Supposedly going through the spike into the ground is more effective and way better. So maybe I could get a spike for this one and test that. I don't know. This one does so much more earthing than my yoga mat. It might be that this is a really, really long cord. It's like really, really, really long. It's coiled up out the window there. Who knows? But verdict's in for me. This is okay. It does some kind of grounding. This is awesome. It does a whole lot of grounding. Yeah, so hopefully that was as interesting for you as it was for me. And I will see you tomorrow for another check-in on how we're going as we head into the halfway mark of our 30 days of earthing. Have you been earthing? Talk to you soon. Bye.